through some things that we're going to be doing this calendar year for our Ultimate Insiders and for you also. And so you are definitely in our plans as of right now. And so, we're kind of continuing on with AI, obviously. And so the question would be, what are we trying to do here? Are we just launching PLR? Are we just doing this? And obviously, as of everyone else in our market, we're obviously in this to be profitable. I want to give you a sense of what we're trying to do here and how we're going to help you. And this calendar year, I've just decided that I'm going to be going on a learning tour. And that's really what I've been doing on Tuesday nights. And I might expand that to other nights, but Tuesday is really about education for me. And if you understand, if you've been on any of those calls with me, where maybe we talked to Melody and Sharon, or we talked last week to Chad Al Jazeera, or we talked to this week coming up, we're going to be talking to um, what are we talking to this week? John Rhodes, right? John Rhodes is a mentor of mine. What I'm trying to do is learn, and I'm bringing you along with me. So that's going to be the rest of this calendar year. And when we get done with AI this time, I think we've got Alicia Little on July 14th. We're probably going to head into maybe printables. We're going to do small business and some other things that I had really wanted to do last calendar year and just got delayed for other reasons. And obviously, a lot of that has to do let's see, someone's saying my audio is garbled. Oh, better now? Better now, Dana? Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. Um, okay, are we good? Are we're good now, Dana? Okay, great. Okay. So if we're good, Boyd, are we good on that end? Are you able to hear me? See me? Okay. Um, so this is again our community-wide call, and so this year I've gone on a bit of a learning tour, and that's really what AI monetization masterclass is going to be and we're going to be finishing up at the end of June, and then Alicia Little's going to close it out on July 14th. We're going to go right into another subject, and I think this year, this time around, and probably for the rest of the year, I think I said this on the insider call that at minimum the way that I structured this, I'm probably going to structure it a little different so that the replays are going to be free to Ultimate Insiders, mainly because, I think I've always said that any classes that I do, I'm always going to do with Ultimate Insiders in mind. So everything that's class related, where I'm learning from the experts, I'm going to separate that in terms of the offer, making the replays available so that Ultimate Insiders who want to um, listen to those replays are going to be able to listen to them as part of the membership. And that's just kind of a logistical thing. And I'll need to say more about this over the next couple of weeks, but we are going to be moving from Teachable. I'm moving on from Teachable. And a lot of it has to do with cost. Some of it has to do with limits. They've come to me and they've said, well, I can only have a terabyte and I can sneeze and have a terabyte worth of stuff. So I don't know how I'm going to fit into their new pricing plan if they're going to charge me by if they're going to meter, right? What I do. And I've never had a meter plan, and so I might be moving over to either go high level or I might be moving over to system. And my gut feeling is I'm going to be moving over the system, but I've already done part of a lot of the courses that are in Teachable are already over in system, and it would be an easy thing. And now that I have Sydney with me full time, which is another announcement that I need to make that my daughter Sydney's coming back, and she will be back with us full time on Monday. So when you write in, you'll be talking to Sydney first, and she's going to bring me in as needed. And hopefully, that's going to mean she's going to be able to get to you faster, unless there's a question that I have to answer. And she's going to take a while to get up to speed because quite a bit has changed since she left. But she is a like really whip smart, and she will catch up fast. So on Monday, when you first write in, the first person you talk to will be Sydney, and she is back. And um, one thing that I did last year that stopped when Laurel uh, 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 had carpal tunnel surgery was, we'd started doing leadership content. And I really want to pick that back up. And I'm going to be talking about that over the next couple of weeks, but we are going to pick that back up. And Laurel will be more involved in when we are doing that. And so just so that you'll know. So, okay. Um, I talked about learning tour. The idea behind what we're doing is to give you what you need to be credible. So, if you are going to build a membership, you need to have AI in there. It's kind of hard to be in business and not be able to train your people on AI of any kind. And I'm going to do as best I can to give you fundamentals and foundations for you to have in your membership. Now, that doesn't mean that your customers are going to go through your membership. They're going to watch all the videos on AI. Having them there, though, means you're credible. It means that you are in the game. It means that you are a player. It means that you are serious. And so we are going to do everything that we can to fill your membership so that when people walk in, they see what you have and then they can kind of relax. And so what I've learned about memberships, whether they are low dollar or high dollar, one of the things that you can do and you can set people at ease, you can set their mind at ease, is by having a library that they can see. And you want that library to be visible. In this way, you should not take your cues from me as a PLR seller, right? Because my whole approach to this is different. Now I could set up more of a library, right? But most people don't come to us to learn per se. They come more so to get something that they can use. Now, um, but you should have a library. And this is one of the separations between what I do and trying to be an example to you and what you should be doing. Your membership should it should be visible, and it should be widespread, and it should be there. So when your customer walks in, that library should make them think twice about canceling, right? It should make them think twice about it. It gives them a comfort level that, okay, when I do have a question, I can come here. I don't have to go to YouTube and start searching through a lot of weird videos. We keep the videos to the point so that they're not, and this again, and I know I say this all the time, that you should not be looking to redo our videos. You should be focusing on marketing and marketing your learning center, right? That learning center is your credibility, and it stands for the fact that, okay, you know what, this guy, okay, he's serious, or this lady, she's serious. She's got this stuff in here. If I got to get here and I got to learn this, all these subjects are here. I'm good, right? And so the other things that you're offering will be the main thing, but the credibility piece is already there with the content that we give you, right? And you should fill your library with it. So we're going to give you business, right? We last year we finished up um, new marketer workshop. I'm going to do another version of that this year. I'm going to start that this week, and it's going to be pretty much start to finish um, my uh, experience on how to do online business. And so, yes, you're going to be able to use resale rights, but it's really designed for those people who have said to me, wrote to me in the last week or so and say, hey, you know what, man, I really don't know where to start. I've got a lot of PLR, or I've got a lot of stuff, and I've done affiliate marketing. I'm just trying to figure out. I just want to get something going, And I think I've steered away from giving my own opinion about that and kind of stuck to giving you content. But I'm going to do that in this course because I did it in the 52-week training that I did. I think that I think Insider Jane Gardner was saying that needs to be daily, right? And so it was easier for me to teach it weekly. I'm going to go through that. First of all, it needs to be updated. I did it back in 2021 into 2022. It needs to be updated for AI, even though the fundamentals and foundational principles of what I taught in that have not changed. Just so that you'll know, the 12 principles in that course do not change because of AI. I might need to update some of the things that I say in there, and I'm going to do that a little more in pieces in videos rather than, 1 week long, one full length session. I'm going to do tutorials, right? So let's say that, one of those 52 weeks, I'm going to turn that one session into a video course, right? And we will do it that way. And the reason, obviously, now, if you want to use it for resale rights, you can have resale rights to it. I'm probably not going to do unrestricted rights to it, but I will do resale rights to it. And if you want to teach with it, but it's not just for people that want to teach it. It's also for people who want to do something. And the only thing I can teach is actionable the things I've done. That's what I'm going to be doing in this course. So we're going to continue to do AI. We're going to continue to do business. As I said, um, I think Laurel is fully back and healed. I think, with her carpal tunnel kind of having healed, she's still having some effects, but I think she's ready. We both have a little more bandwidth now, having passed our comprehensive exams, and so I can kind of really structure this so that we can really do. We started really well with servant leadership, authentic leadership. We were about to do transformational leadership, and then, her hands blew up, right? And she had carpal tunnel, cubital tunnel, and just it was an absolute craziness, with her hands and her arms. But I think that she is fully back now. It's taken a while, but I think she is ready, and so we will be getting back to leadership. And it's probably better that I do that now anyway. Now, having passed the exam, there's a lot of things I'm going to teach differently, um than and a lot of it just first because I've learned more. Second of all, and I'll tell you about a little bit more about this as I get to the end of this. But the idea when we're doing this stuff is to make you credible. So you've got to have stuff on AI, you've got to have stuff on business, and we're going to give you stuff on leadership, and I'll tell you why that makes you credible here in a minute. The other thing we're trying to help you to do is to be consistent, right? And ultimately, you know, it's we're looking for you to do this as an ultimate insider. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That's the best way to do this. But again, the idea behind giving you a lecture, and people kind of feel like, well, I want to go out and I want to sell something, so I want to buy the tutorials, which is good and it makes sense. It fits, right? It takes a little more work to use a live workshop, but let me tell you why those live workshops are important. Because now, over the years, I've done what I've called a DFY Live Masterclass, giving you unrestricted rights to it. And the idea of all that was always to do a workshop. But there are kind of two sides to that. And I retired that product. You may have heard me say I'm going to retire the DFY Live Masterclasses because there are kind of two pieces to that. One is a different mindset. You should be pre-selling, right? You should be pre-selling. You don't just hit people with an offer. Okay, like we just did create to sell a GPT, custom GPT. Well, some of your people have no idea what that is. They're not into chat GPT, or you don't even know where your people are on this stuff. And so you bring them in, you pre-sell them, and you give them a little bit of education to make a good decision about whether or not to buy the course. Because without a pre-sell, What happens is they make a decision based on what they know, based on what they think. And most people think, well, I don't want to do a GPT. Or, or they just jump into it, right? Because they like to buy everything. And that's not a good thing to buy either. I mean, you don't necessarily just want to have those buyers also. So, so the idea is to split that into a perfect pre-sale, right? That's one thing. And the last thing time we split that offer into two pieces. And I think we're going to do that going forward. And one of those is going to have to be pre-recorded. And then the live masterclass, which we are doing on Monday for Create IntelliGPT. The live masterclass is for you to train your customers in a workshop. And really and truly, these should be customers that have already bought the product, right? It's a different mindset, right? It's a different vibe and it's a different way to teach. The perfect pre-sale is for people who haven't bought, who are deciding, who don't know a lot, who this should be your weekly workshop. So for people who don't have a free weekly workshop, the perfect pre-sale is that's what that's for. And so so we need to so we're gonna do that. And the idea behind that is for you to be consistent. And I have said over the years, since 2020, when we did e-learning playbook, that um, when you position yourself as an educator, the way to do that is to do a weekly workshop. There's no and to be there every week. I have not been a great example of that, and I have abandoned this, and I've done this as the live master class, and just not a good idea. And so I'm going to be returning to my own roots and kind of doing this every week. And so and so that really is the idea. You should be doing everything I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're an ultimate insider, um, or not. You should be not just doing what I say, you should be doing what I'm doing right now. You should not, you don't need to be a PLR creator, but inside of your niche, I'm doing what you should be doing. I'm not saying you have to do a workshop on Saturday and have it free, but you need to be doing one. Whatever your membership is, you should be making yourself available to those people. You can do it training. I've done training for years. This year, I chose to be available. I might switch back to training, right? But these are things you should be doing, and those things you don't get paid for directly, right? I don't get paid to do a workshop on Saturday. Nobody's gonna buy the work. Somebody buys this YouTube stream. However, it is important for me to get to know you, for you to get to know me. All right. So maybe you're not yet an ultimate insider. Maybe you're trying to decide. And one of the ways that I can help you decide that is to be here every Saturday. And you should be doing the same thing in your market or niche. So I am doing what I expect all ultimate insiders to do, and I expect you to do, even if you have not yet become an ultimate insider. You should be doing a weekly workshop. You should be positioning yourself as an educator. I said this on the insider call, and I do want to talk about this a little bit. Um, I've tried to take the posture in the AI marketing, AI monetization masterclass. If you've noticed, I am on a learning tour. So when I sit in the seat and I bring Melody and Sharon, or I bring Chad, or I bring um, Matt Garrett, right? Or even Carmen, I am here to learn on your behalf. So when I ask them questions, I'm asking because I want to know, and I try to ask the questions that I think you would want me to ask. But even if I don't do that, I am in the learning posture. This is a learning tour this year. And so, and so, um, um, if when you were trying to jumpstart or move into a market or niche, the best way to do that is to enter any market, right? If you're trying to start something new, right? And AI has kind of shifted and kind of reshifted everything. Let's say that, well, I'm going to start teaching seniors in um, in Peoria, Illinois, right? That's my market. That's the market I'm going to go into. Okay, wonderful. You go in as an educator. So you don't go in saying I'm the expert. You don't go in and saying I'm the top. You let the market decide. So when the market says you are the go-to person, you're the go-to person. You act like the go-to person, but you take the posture of an educator. And so you go in to become a valuable source of information and you try to put yourself right in the middle of everything, right? That's really part of the mindset when I use the word ultimate insider is to so that you can position yourself in the middle of everything. And so what you're trying to really do as an educator is nothing happens in the market without it going through you, right? You get a little piece of everything. So if everybody's talking about, if people are talking about um, paid advertising, you got a little something on paid advertising. You know the players in paid advertising. You put yourself in the middle. You become an ultimate insider. You become an educator. And so some people, even if they're attached to gurus, right? They got to come by you, right? Because you're in the middle of it. And so yeah, it's another way of doing business. And again, look, I'm the first to tell you that um this is not gonna be always fast sales. I'm suggesting that you're trying to build a deep rooted business so that sales start chasing you. Because really to survive in this business, one of the games that you have to learn how to play, however you play, some people do it with affiliate commissions. Some people do it with recurring income in their membership. Some people do it with um, partnerships. You have to get sales to chase you, right? And so rather than you chasing them, because newbies when they come into the marketplace, they chase the sales. But the longer you're in this business, that's what you're trying to get to the point. It doesn't matter which market you do it in, but you get the sales to chase you. Because otherwise, this is an exhausting business. It takes a long time to get something up and running in order to get to that point where sale chases you. But that's what you're working toward. And I tend to tell people to try to do that with a recurring business, right? I'm always talking about recurring. But some people do it with affiliate traffic. Some people do it with SEO. But it doesn't really matter. Your mindset's got to be, I- I'm an educator in the middle of this niche. Nothing comes through this market without coming through me. You spend your life positioning yourself so that you become in the middle of everything. You don't have to be biggest, you don't have to be the loudest, you don't have to be the best spoken, but everything's got to come by you. Everything. Right? When you get to that point, right, the sales have to chase you. They have to chase you when you get to that point. And that's really what you're trying to do by being consistent. And so you can't get someone to come onto your show or you can't get them to agree to interview you. I know people who do interviews. For those of you who say, "Well, I don't want to do audio interviews. I don't want to do video interviews. I don't want to do that." I know people who do nothing but interview people by typing, right? They send them questions, they get the responses, they release that every month. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for anybody not being able to draw from people, right? You need to but the starting point though is you build credibility with your customers. Consistency is social proof so that when you go to someone you say, "Well, hey, on a weekly basis we do this thing." Then people are more inclined to say, okay, I'll do this interview with you, right? So I am saying credibility, consistency, and then curriculum, right? And I know we're running close to time. It's 7:27, so I'm not going to keep you beyond 30 minutes, just so you know. I'm serious about getting you out of here by 30 minutes. What should you be teaching? What should you be telling your customers? What should you be getting out there? And I know that everybody's teaching, look, uh, we ought to be teaching AI. We ought to be teaching sales funnels, profitability, all those things, right? It goes without saying. But there are a lot of people good at that. And I'm not going to try to redo what they're doing. I'm not going to try to give you, I'm not going to try to give you content for that uh, uh, exclusively. What I think you should be doing, in addition to business, AI, leadership, is I don't know if the market's going to go here, but I think it eventually has to. You got to teach your customer how to build community. And again, I said this on the Ultimate Insider call earlier. Community is broadly defined. Everybody's using community, right? Some people think that means a forum. Some people said that's my YouTube channel. Some people say, it's my newsletter, but you got to build community. And basically a community is not just a bunch of people that make comments, right? A community, and where I think you've got to do is what AI cannot do, is to build connection, whether they connect to you or they connect to each other. That is what you got to teach your customer how to do. Um, can AI attempt to do that? Maybe, but AI cannot effectively do that. And if you can teach people how to build connection and community, right, you will have value. Doesn't matter what the AI is doing, right? And so, yes, you can get and there will be a point at which, right, that, the AI is not a bubble, but you're going to have all your fill of all the AI software, and you're going to have your fill of all the AI strategies, and they're going to work, right? Um, it's pretty exhausting. How many of you have found that to be, right? It's exhausting trying to keep up with it all. And so you cannot possibly keep up the pace at which AI is driving our business right now. So how do you do that? Well, you're going to have to be one of the people in the marketplace, that rare person who can teach your people how to connect, how to teach your people how to get people to connect, right? And so, and when I said I was going to, that's really what our leadership content is really going to be designed to do, is to equip you to make connections, right? That's what you have to teach your people how to do. You got to teach first of all, you should be connecting with your own people, and building connections, right? So yes, uh, uh, our business is a difficult one in which to connect people, because entrepreneurs typically, they sort of want what they want, and then they move on to the next they move on to the next thing, right? They don't necessarily want to necessarily always connect directly, but you've got to teach your people how to connect, because that is going to be the difference between someone who is valuable in the age of AI, right? You've got to do something AI is not going to do. And AI doesn't even want to do that. AI drives people toward individualism. Nothing wrong with that, right? It empowers people as an individual. So you don't really need anybody. But we all know that's not where people are going to want to be. And so you have to be able to teach your people how to connect. And so the leadership content that we're going to be giving you is really going to be helping you to help people to connect, right? You got to teach your people to build audiences, to build communities, to build tribes, whatever you want to call it. Different names for it, different cool names, but at the end of it all is connection. And that is what an AI cannot do. And if you can do that and you can teach people how to do that, you have value. Um, and finally, cash flow, right? So, we'll be talking about on a weekly basis. AI mods, I don't know about you. I have really liked AI monetization masterclass. I really enjoyed, Janine was just awesome, right? I hope you all really like Janine. And I knew Janine was that awesome, but you may not have. And so Janine's not in our market. And one of the things I really appreciated about bringing her in was because she's not part of our market, and nobody really kind of in our market really even knew who she was. And she really put on the show. And I think her mentor, Alicia, right, is booked for July 14th. So please do not miss that session. Um, Melody and Sharon were great. Chad was awesome. Matt Garrett. Now, if you haven't listened to the Matt Garrett session, I really, really, really encourage you to do that. Matt laid down the kind of gems that are just so plainly and just so practical, but just so true. Uh, so if you have not heard the Matt Garrett call, right? I have an excerpt on YouTube. If you're determined not to spend money about it, um, but I would encourage you to get AI Masterclass, and then when you get an AI Masterclass, uh, y- you know, um, take a listen to Matt Garrett's talk, right? Very practically how you monetize AI, but he's talking about more than AI. He's talking about how to build an online business. And I don't want to spoil it, but get in there and listen to Matt. But we're going to be talking about monetization, and again, I'm on a learning tour this year. I do not think I know everything. And so I'm going to take you on the tour with me this year. And if you're an Ultimate Insider, you come for free. If not, then you'll still be able to participate, but at a cost, right? So just so that you'll know. So again, I'm going to be structuring those a little differently, so that all Ultimate Insiders will be able to participate by being a member, right? And uh, let's see. Okay, so question. How long should your free weekly workshop be? 30 minutes, right? Like I'm doing, like I'm over it by 4 minutes. It shouldn't be any longer than that, right? Uh, Now, if you want to hang out and answer questions, but you shouldn't be hanging people out, making people hang on and feel guilty about leaving. At 30 minutes, you should be done. And there really isn't a whole lot more to say. Now, if you're doing a demo and it takes longer than 30 minutes, right? You're demonstrating something on screen, it just takes longer. That's understandable. But if you are teaching, at 30 minutes is the max. And I would say 25 minutes, 15 minutes is too short. Um, so you shouldn't be doing anything like, don't ask people, don't ask people to commit to you. And you're going to be on the call for 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's not, you don't want to do that, because I promise you, if you do that and you do that a lot, they're not coming back, right? They're not going to commit to you if you do something 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is too short. 30 minutes is about right. All right. So that's a good question. I think Santu asked that question. Um, Let me see other question. Uh, Yeah, so James' question is leadership and mindset is the same process. Do I agree? To some degree, yeah. I think when we're talking about leadership, what I think you've got to teach people how to do is to figure out what their style is, figure out what because everybody leads differently. And and so and so and so there are different things you can try to get people to do some of the things they don't necessarily want to do, but ultimately you got to get them to make the connection, right? And so um, I've learned so much over the course of 3 years about things I didn't know about leadership from an academic perspective. And I tried to watch to see how much of it really applies. And you know what's really amazing is that a lot of stuff that they write for these corporations, big corporations, it applies more to us than it does to them. That's what's really amazing about this. I'm sitting in class, I'm thinking, well, man, people are saying, this is not realistic. And I'm thinking, this is really realistic for us. Right. And so it's really amazing. So a lot of the stuff in Laurel and I found, it's, it's ironic because, um, people don't do a graduate program. They do it because they're getting some big company they work for to pay for it. And so they're going back to their company, they're going to try to apply all these lessons. And when they're doing research, they're trying to think about these big companies. But then, you'll hear people complain that doesn't really work in the real world. a lot of stuff that these theories, it's directly relevant, right, to what we do. So it's really weird. But yeah, so we'll be talking about some of that. Let me see. Over here. Okay, yeah, so same question from Santu. Yeah, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is what you should be doing. Okay, so right now we have create and sell a custom GPT. Go ahead, pick that up. If you're an Ultimate Insider, I have already put that in your account. So if you're an Ultimate Insider, you don't have to get this. Um, that course is in your account right now. And so that and the video kits and then the live masterclass, which is going to be a perfect pre-sale. I may actually go ahead and do that second part, right? I, I've set up for the perfect pre-sale, which I'm going to do in Harrisburg, and I'm going to give you access to. But what I may actually do is I may split that off and do that other call also, but it's not there right now. Um, and then if you're watching this, obviously, what you've just heard is you've heard what we're about, what we're trying to do, and what we want to do with you and for you. Now, this is an online business, and we are not a big company, and we don't even try to be. So if you come in, you're thinking, well, this didn't happen, this thing is all over, and that's not my vibe, right? I'm here to help you, and sometimes the edges, right? My edges are going to be a little rough. Some things might not always fit, but I promise you that if you come here, well, okay, I can't make promises, but if you come here and you're really committed to what you're trying to do and you're trying to get to recurring income, I'm here to help you. And I can move you from where you are to closer to getting to that. I'm confident of that. And I'm confident that um, with what we're going to be teaching you about leadership and about being in the middle of a market, not having to be the biggest or the loudest, because I'm not, right? I can only teach you what I've done. I'm not trying to be the biggest and the loudest. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, you're gonna be awesome if you do." You all who know me, you know that's not. I don't roll like that. But I am doing what I think you should be doing, right? And so you can watch me confidently, mistakes and all. And if you do what I'm doing, right? If you do your version of what I'm doing, you will be further and move closer and closer to a recurring income. Promise you that. Okay, I can't, I know I can't say promise, right? I can't make promises. So I can't make promises. That's kind of a euphemism. But I'm saying Ultimate Insiders is you committing to me so I can commit to you. Right? I don't like monthly. Yes, I understand that. If you when you do this, this helps me to be able to commit to you, right? I commit to, assigning Sydney to do support. I can put Laurel on some things that I don't have time to do. So that again, the goal is really to help you to put things together to help you to get to recurring income. If you are in this business and you're not trying to get to recurring income, why are you in it? Right? If you just want to exhaust yourself chasing sales, um, I'm 59, right? And I will tell you, you can only chase sales for so long, right? You will start to feel it. And so the goal when I use the word recurring, let's take that out because that's a buzzword. Here's the visual. You got to get sales to chase you, however you do it. And I am here to help you to do that. So if you don't have sales chasing you, right? Um, there is no one size fits all. You're not going to buy an information product that's going to teach you step by step how to get sales to chase you. Some people are going to do it in affiliate marketing. But there is a pattern that I can teach you. There's a pattern. There are fundamentals that if you follow them, you can do it. But you have to do the work. I can help you, but you got to do the work. And for people who want to do the work, I'm here to help you, right? When you're an ultimate insider, to get the sales to chase you. Right? I'm not trying to drag you, there's no emotion in it. I want you to make a rational decision. I could pull you onto a direct response call and do all the direct response things, right? I can do all those things. I know how to do them all. I've been to every Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson. I've been to all of them. But I'm not going to do that because first of all, I don't want to do it. Second of all, I don't want that kind of customer. And so the customers that end up coming and staying as ultimate insiders. I say this all the time. They end up being the kind of person that if I was in their town, I'd want to go eat with them. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it works, but most of those people, every time when I meet them, I sit down and talk to them. I think, you know what? Here's somebody I'd probably have lunch with if I was in their town. Right? That's what you want to do. Okay, so that's really about it for tonight. I've gone over a little bit. So it is now um 7:43. And so I am going to take off and I will see you on Monday for the live masterclass for creating Seller GPT. So make sure you get that at theplrshow.com/new. Make sure you also get the live masterclass. And again, now the entire course is free if you're an Ultimate Insider. So I've already added it to all the Ultimate Insiders. If you're an Ultimate Insider, you join today, write me in support. Or write Sydney in support, and we will get you access to everything. If you joined after I added all the people to everything. Okay. And with that, thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with us here. Have a great